Fame can fill a stadium, but it cannot enter a home unless the owner allows it. Lamar Jackson's house draws curiosity for an unusual reason. Almost nothing about it is staged for the public. The Ravens quarterback is one of the most watched athletes in football, yet his private space stays mostly unshown. That contrast raises a bigger question than paint colors or square footage. What does a person protect when the world keeps demanding access? Staying until the end matters, because the real story is not a luxury tour. It is the way a private home can become a shield, a training tool, and a family anchor for someone whose job is to live under a spotlight every day. There is no glossy, room-by-room walkthrough that follows Jackson from a front door to a backyard. That absence is not a gap, it is a choice. In celebrity culture, visibility is treated like proof. Jackson's pattern has leaned the other way. The less that is shown, the less that can be turned into noise. Public profiles have placed him in Owings Mills, Maryland, near the Ravens practice facility, in a setting described as quiet and tucked away. The value lies in proximity, not the address. A franchise quarterback's time is measured in blocks: recovery, meetings, practice, film, and sleep. Living near work removes small stresses that pile up fast. The next layer is who shares the space. Reports have described Jackson living with his mother and younger siblings, and People has written that he used his first NFL paycheck to buy a house for his mother, his brother, and himself. That detail changes the whole mood of the home. It is built for closeness, not for showing off. A shared home brings ordinary rhythm. Meals, talk, someone moving in the next room. For a famous athlete, that can be a stabilizer. It keeps life from turning into a lonely loop of travel, training, and silence. It also keeps identity anchored in real relationships, not just public approval. This helps explain why the house is discussed in terms of routine, not glamour. A quarterback's job does not end after the final whistle. The mind has to store protections, formations, and timing like a second language. The best personal spaces for that work are simple in the right ways. They reduce distractions. They support repetition. Inside that kind of space, status is usually hidden in plain sight, not in glitter, but in comfort that supports the body. Soft light in the morning, a quiet corner for reading a playbook, a clean place to stretch. These are not headline details, but they are the details that keep a season steady. Many top quarterbacks treat home like an extension of the facility, not because they cannot leave work behind, but because the position demands constant learning. Film can be paused and replayed. Notes can be taken in silence. Then the brain can finally cool down because the work is done for the day. Money makes the contrast sharper. Jackson signed a major extension with Baltimore in 2023 that was widely reported as 5 years and $260 million, putting him among the league's top-paid quarterbacks. The financial scale is enormous. Yet, the public picture keeps circling back to privacy, family, and a steady base near work. A similar pattern emerges in the business world. His professional life has been closely linked to family involvement, with his mother often discussed as central to how he handles big decisions. A person who keeps decision-making close tends to build a life that stays close too. In that model, home is not a backdrop. Home is headquarters. Branding reinforces it. Era 8 has grown beyond a jersey number into a business signal, and public reporting has covered trademark activity tied to that identity. That kind of branding requires control. It also creates pressure to be on all the time. A private home helps separate the person from the brand. Then there is the part of his life that points back to Florida. In 2022, the Ravens' own coverage noted that he purchased a soul food restaurant in Pompano Beach and that it became Play Action Soul Food and More, tied to the phrase, "You ate yet?" It is a business move, but it also looks like a roots move. Food is memory. A hometown restaurant is a way to keep that memory alive while building something bigger than a single season. Endorsements show a similar restraint. Jackson has a partnership with Oakley, and Ravens coverage has featured him as the face of an Oakley Football Shield campaign. Yet, there has also been public discussion that his endorsements have not always been as loud as his on-field status. That quietness fits the larger picture. Fewer doors open, fewer distractions inside the walls. Now comes the part that no camera captures, yet it may be the most important room in the house: recovery. In the NFL, the body is a business asset. For a quarterback who runs and takes hits, recovery is planning, it is sleep, it is stretching, it is hydration, it is quiet. Many elite athletes shape their home life around deep rest, because rest protects the next practice and the next opportunity. This is where fame psychology turns practical. Public life keeps the nervous system switched on. Phones buzz, clips replay, opinions stack up. A private home can retrain the brain to switch off. That mental recovery is as real as any workout. Even small home rules like putting the phone away at night can protect focus and mood. A Baltimore magazine profile has described Jackson's home life in calm, ordinary terms. Living with family, keeping close to the facility, and holding on to steady habits. The details are not flashy, they are consistent. Consistency is the hidden theme. Philanthropy fits into that theme. The Forever Dreamers Foundation states that it was founded by Jackson in 2018. Charity work can be public, but values are formed in private. A foundation begins with a quiet decision about what success should mean beyond wins and losses. All of this leads to a simple but powerful idea about what inside his house really means. It means inside the system that protects his attention. Attention is the real currency of modern fame, and it is also a quarterback's most valuable tool. A home that protects attention is a home built around boundaries. Boundaries aren't about distance, they're about protection. They keep random opinions from becoming roommates. They keep the outside world from turning every private choice into a public vote. Jackson's house is not fascinating because it is bigger than other houses. It is fascinating because it is quieter than his fame. A quiet home does something a stadium cannot. It turns a global name back into a son, a brother, a father, a teammate watching film, a person eating dinner without a script. It offers an identity that cannot be booed or cheered. That is why the public never gets the full tour. A full tour would turn the home into content. Content invites judgment. Once a private space becomes a show, it stops being safe. The home loses its job, and that is where the story settles in a quieter way. The world will keep trying to understand Lamar Jackson through highlights, contracts, and headlines, but the clearest clue keeps showing up in what stays off limits. A mostly private home suggests a life that refuses to be fully consumed. It suggests a person who knows attention can be useful, but also dangerous. It suggests a belief that the best part of success should still have a door that closes. A home like that can be filled with family talk and familiar laughter. A home like that can also be still enough to notice the air shift and the floor settle. Either way, the value is not in what can be photographed. The value is in what can be protected, because the silence is not empty. It is where pressure finally drops. It is where the outside story stops pressing against the skin. It is where the next day can be built in small, quiet pieces, without an audience, without a storyline, without a need to prove anything at all, even for a moment, as the night stretches on and the next day waits quietly, almost patiently.